hoopers. Like Drew is a hooper, but we need like Chris Middleton. Like I think his run, what he did for us, we appreciate, but I think it's over. I think it's over, man. I think it's over, man. We need some hoopers. I really want the Bucks to entertain trying to get Dame here, man. I feel like if we can give up Chris,
Ooh.
I would give up Chris, Brooke, Grayson, and a couple picks for Dame Lillard, man. I keep Drew, got Giannis, get Dame, and I rock out.
Yeah, I think you got to keep Drew for sure. That would be a
Got to.
huge pick because Drew can play that too, like, and even if he wants to play the one, you can put Dame off the ball.
Or
if
you
you
can.
want
Yeah, I was about
to
say you could get Dame off the ball, so he doesn't
Yeah.
have to so he can come off screens and stuff.
I guess I was talking more defensively. Like Drew can guard it too for sure.
Absolutely.
In the NBA.
Yeah.
So like,
And then at that point, the spacing is so like it's just Giannis' world at that point. Because like you gonna double Giannis and you got Dame? Like
so you said get rid of Brooke Lopez. What?
You know what?
Get rid of Bobby.
That's because the one you think Bobby?
I mean, you got to give up something.
Opposite way.
You got to give up something.
Got to give up something.
I forgot about Bobby Portis.
Unless we give up Crowder.
I would give up Brooke Lopez before I give up Bobby Portis.
Mm-hmm.
That dude is nasty.
I can see why you say that, though. I can see why. I didn't want to give up Bobby. That's why I didn't say him. I can't give up Bobby.
That's what
Bobby is like our Draymond in a sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Chris Clem's brother loves Bobby because Chris lives in Milwaukee too, and they're big Milwaukee guys, and they love Bobby to a T.
Man, the city fuck with Bobby.
Because Bobby be out in the city.
Yeah, he do. He be out here. He outside. You ain't wrong. He was like how PJ Tucker was when he was here. We shouldn't have got rid of PJ Tucker.
No.
So we were supposed to pay him. No way he's supposed to be in Philly right now. Supposed to pay him.
Supposed to pay that guy. Yeah, now he's kind of just standing in a corner. That's kind of what he did before, I guess.
And Jay Crowder's is not cutting it, man.
No, I can't stand Jay Crowder, man. Like that dude.
Fool.
I don't know what it is about him. I feel like it's just he goes through these streaks where he does not even get close to hitting a shot. Like it's straight bricks, and it's like, man, what are you doing? Like, are you really bringing anything to the floor right now?
I know that gotta feel crazy just seeing that ball just boom, boom. I gotta feel crazy.
Well, let's welcome the people on that note. Welcome back to the Kitchen Hook Podcast. This is T. Bush and T. Hilg signing back in with our very special guest.
Yes, sir.
A buddy of mine teammate from mine from Sheridan College, and went on to play some more Division I basketball and did his thing out there too. PJ Posey from the great city of Milwaukee, our second guest from Milwaukee.
Y'all had a guest from Milwaukee?
Yeah, Clem Robinson.
Okay. I didn't know that. I ain't familiar with that name either.
Yeah, he's so how much older is he than us, Bush?
He 2 years older than me. I think he's a year older than you.
Yeah. So he went to Nicolay High School.
Mm-hmm.
I know where that's at.
Yeah. But yeah, he's 20 or no, he's 30 now. He hit the 30 mark.
Okay. He went to the same high school Jalen Johnson went to.
Yeah, we were talking about him when we had Clem on. But second guest from Milwaukee, bro. But thank you for joining us today. It's
thank y'all for having me, man.
Absolutely,
I really appreciate it. I'm a fan of the pod too, man. I spent a couple of y'all episodes while I was on the road, man. So
I said that to Bush today on the phone. We were talking a little bit. I was like, the last I knew, PJ was driving trucks. He was really spending a lot of time on the road. So I wouldn't be surprised if.
When I seen
the podcast on once or twice.
I had to get on as soon as I seen it. And I know know ball, so I know it's some good talk.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then, Bush I was talking with him, and, we were talking about like how when we have guests on, it just, the viewership is way better. And that's what we want, because we want people to hear what, for one, we're trying to bring to the table, but also what these guests had to say too. So, the fact that, bringing people on gets a little more interest. We were like, when you hit the IG up, we were like,
Yes.
get him on there.
Well, because too,
Absolutely.
like, it's nice because like we have only a certain amount of like able to branch out to a certain amount of people. When you bring on guests, there's another tree branch, to get more people to listen, and people are gonna listen to PJ. It's like that know him, and if they like it, it's like, oh shoot, like I'm gonna keep listening to these guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, but just getting into what we were talking about the playoffs here. Bush, we were talking about Jimmy Butler. I want to get your thoughts on what just Jimmy Butler in the playoffs is like, and just kind of him as a player and what he's doing to the Bucks a little bit.
Shoot.
So go ahead.
Oh shoot! I was just about to say he turned into friggin' Michael Jordan when the playoffs come around.
Going with the MJ comp, bro, off the bat.
That man is filthy.
Jimmy. So I'm familiar with Jimmy because he was a Marquette dude. So I know how Jimmy can get, man. As far as just like I don't know, Hildy, when we was in college, you used to hear that saying, you can't turn it on and off. But he clearly can turn it on and off. It's clear. It's clear. It's like that's one of them players. I feel like when the time comes, it's like a switch get hit, and he just rock out. It's at that point you can't even stop him. I'm very nervous for our game that we got coming up.
Yeah, we were talking about this tweet that like some dude was talking about in the East playoffs, and they were like, well, whoever gets Jimmy Butler in the Heat, I don't want to be that team. And the fact that they got the 8 seed and drew the Bucks, like that's tough.
He said it after the Hawks, or not the Hawks came, after they beat the Bulls. He's like, man, don't let that seed of ours like fool you. He's like, we have a good team. Like, we were the number 1 seed last year for a reason. We just haven't figured it out yet. That's a tough out every time, in my opinion.
And nobody want to see Jimmy and Spo, man. You don't want to see that. You don't want to see that. No, and this is without Tyler Hero.
Yes.
That's what's so scary.
What did he do again? Did he broke his hand? Broke his hand. That's right. Yeah.
Hey, let me get since we were talking about the Bucks before, I was just writing this down. Coach Bud, is it time?
Yeah, I think it's time.
Me too.
For Bud to go, man.
Me too.
He don't make adjustments quick enough.
Like I was listening to Charles last night. He said great point. He's like, why are you not calling a timeout? Like, it's in the fourth quarter on the road. You can't let a team go 13-0 on you. Like, when they get that 6-point, like 6-0 run, all right, timeout, guys, calm down. Let's get the crowd out of it. Get a play drawn up for like Giannis or something, something easy that can just stop the run. And he fails to do that quite a bit, I feel like.
When I seen Jimmy have, what he had, 22 at the end of the first quarter, I'm like, it's going to be a long night, man. And Drew was guarding him. That's why I was so
that's
thrown
the
off.
thing.
I'm like, I can't believe this, man.
Speaking of those two, like I wrote this down right before we went. Drew last night had 14, 7, and 4, and Chris had 14, 6, and 8, and they were 10 of 31 shooting to combine. Like, those two need. I mean, I know Brooke had 33 or whatever, but those two need to be. Chris Middleton got to be doing what he did in the finals consistently. Like, that can't just be a one-time thing. You know what I mean? Like, he got to do more than 14 points.
And that's the problem. It's Chris done had his run, man.
Yeah.
Chris done had his run.
The crazy thing is, you could see those spurts where he's kind of got that like real scorer mentality, and he's really taking over the game. But then it's like he'll just be non-existent out of nowhere.
Oh man, and it really be out of nowhere. It's like we can't do that. Like, we can't. If Chris Middleton is our closer, there's no way how the league is this year. There's no way we win it all. No way.
No.
That's not the same Phoenix team. That's not the same Phoenix team we played. So, at all. Like, not even close.
They got a 7-foot assassin now, and it might not be pretty.
I am excited, just not to get off subject. I am excited at the thought of this Golden State Warriors and Lakers, man. I'm like, I'm anxious for that right there.
Go ahead, Bush. I know
Because
you feel that way.
so I wrote these. That was the two other series I wrote down that I wanted to talk about was the Warriors Kings and Lakers Grizzlies. Because first off, the Warriors and Kings, like man, with De'Aaron Fox breaking his finger, I don't think that's going to be really an issue. I know it's a shooting hand, but like
Yeah,
I don't. He's too good. Like De'Aaron Fox is an MVP type player here soon, like very soon.
Really? You think
Yes,
so?
that
yeah.
boy's
I
nice.
take Darren Fox over Ja right now.
Absolutely.
No, I agree with that for sure.
Right
Absolutely.
now.
And honestly, I think that Draymond Green suspension helped the Warriors. They figured out like against this team, we got to spread that thing out. We got to have Poole, Steph, and Clay on the court to get us going offensively to start the game. And
If not to cut you off, but if Sabonis was, because Sabonis not really hooping how he's supposed to.
no,
Like if he was on it, this series could really be like out of hand right now.
I think
That was a matchup that people talked about before the series started. Like,
Mhm.
oh, Sabonis is going to win this matchup, and like it is not happening.
I think
Nah,
ever since that the altercation in game 2, I think he's been a little like nervous. Like a little nervous. If you watch his interviews, dude be saying a lot. Like he'll randomly come in and say I think he got a little nerves to him. Like, dang, I poked a bear that I shouldn't have poked.
yeah.
You know what I mean? But
And he's tough. I
yes,
love the bonus game. He's tough, man. But I don't know if he's ready. I don't really know if he's ready for the intensity. I don't know if he's ready for the intensity.
Kings remind me of the Warriors 9 years ago when they hit the playoffs against the Nuggets and the Clippers those 2 years. Like they were good, they were there, but they weren't there yet. But they had the pieces. They just need. I think they need one more. I don't even know if they need one more player. Honestly, I think they got it all. It's just now it's all about getting that experience.
They need. I personally feel like they need like a Bradley Beal esque like type go like when Fox is off, Sabonis is off. We need somebody that can just. Monk could be that. Monk could be that. I just feel like he needs to come off the bench though. They need a starter.
Yeah,
like
for
that.
sure.
Chris Middleton will do good. Chris Middleton will do good in Sacramento.
Maybe.
Absolutely.
But yeah, like if Malik Monk is your guy, your lead guard that you're looking to get you going on, putting points on the board, you're gonna have those times where you got those lulls. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because they got the defender.
Like yeah, absolutely.
Davion
But
Mitchell.
I think Bush. Yeah, I think Bush. To your point, what you said about Sacramento. Being what Golden State was real early on when they started to get good, you're seeing those teams in a lot of different series where these are the teams that have been there and maybe they aren't as talented or as efficient or whatever you want to say, but they've been there before and they know what it takes to get it done. So I think there's something to be said for like Steph and Clay and Draymond have 4 championships.
Yeah, like, they've been through the ringer already.
Yeah, they may be the underdog, but they're not really the underdog.
I don't care what you say, but Steph's gonna figure it out anytime. You're never gonna slow Steph down. He may have with one bad game, like where you're like, oh, he didn't shoot that well, but bro, Steph figures it out. He's a type of player that he's gonna come out and he's averaging 32, so he's gonna give you 30 with his eyes closed.
Easy.
Lakers Grizzlies though. What? Go ahead.
Yeah, Bush. I know you had some things to talk about this series.
I know because I bash this. I don't know if you follow me on Twitter, P, but I bash Dillon Brooks heavily, like heavily.
Yeah. Hold on, Bush. Bush like will pick a player and he'll just go at him for like 2 weeks, and then he'll pick somebody else. Like, all right.
But like, I've just never. I go along with what the Warriors say. Like they do all that talking, but they haven't really proved much. But I saw your tweet the other day. You said a team needs to have a player like Dillon Brooks, which I agree. I 100% agree. You need someone like that, but I feel like he goes over the line a little bit. You know,
Definitely. Definitely. He's not from here, man. He's from Canada, man. So I think he got to be a little extra, man. He got to be just a little bit extra.
Oh
He don't
man,
know no better, man. He don't know no better. Like to
that
him,
might be
honestly,
true.
I literally think that to him, he really thinks LeBron James is not that good.
He does, bro. He does.
I literally think
Oh.
that. I think he really think that.
Oh my goodness, man. Like how can you go at that dude and like literally what it's been in the media of like poking the bear, like, oh yeah, I wasn't poking the bear or whatever. Or I was poking the bear. Like, dude, you are seeing what happens when you do that type of shit. And it's
Yeah.
like your team's gonna suffer for it, brother. Like, sorry, buddy, you're
Yeah.
gonna be in Cabo here in a
for
little
real.
bit.
He's not even gonna have a job next year, dude. They're talking about they've been already trying to like work in ways to move him in free agency, which
Ooh, I can't see that. I can't see him nowhere else.
no, I don't either. Like maybe
He gonna be playing for the Memphis Hustle. Ain't that the G League team?
the Houston Rockets.
The
He's
Houston Rockets just got the old coach from Boston, so I
Udoka,
think we
yeah.
need to look out.
No,
We
I
need to look
agree.
out.
I agree
Yeah.
100%. But
And you know
Then
the you know
they're gonna take the steps to hopefully put a team around him.
oh
Like
you know Big Boy just and he just declared for the draft, so we're gonna see how that go too.
Wembenyama.
oh
Is it
yeah, yeah.
Wembenyama?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
But on the Lakers side of things, the Lakers will go as far as AD takes them. Like realistically,
yeah,
because
yeah.
it's
No,
not
I
Bron. I
like
mean,
that.
it's Bron's team, but he's clear. Like he shouldn't be have to be the best player on the court every single night. That should be Anthony Davis's job right now because Anthony Davis is still in his prime.
You
And
know what's you know what's crazy? Not to cut you off,
no,
man.
go ahead.
I was watching Pelicans old highlights from when AD was there. He don't even move the same. Like
No,
his
No,
motion's
man.
not even the same. Like it's not like that's a whole different AD. That
Hmm.
Pelicans AD is a whole different animal, man.
the lights in New
Yeah.
Orleans aren't as bright as the lights in LA.
That's
But
true.
PJ's like I agree with him because like his physicality when he was with the Pelicans, that was a big part of his game on top of his finesse and the stuff he could do with the basketball in his hands. Like he wasn't afraid to duck a dude in and get an easy bucket.
Damn.
But now every catch to him is like mid post, 2-3 dribbles, leaner
Yeah.
with contact. You know what I mean? So it's
Mm-hmm.
like as a PJ, this as a big man, like you got to take those moments to get an easy one where you don't got to work for it.
Hey, you know what's crazy, Hughes? I was listening to some guy, and he was basically saying like how the game is played now. It's not good on our bodies, like on the player's body. Like so, like a 7 foot frame is not meant to be closing out at the 3 point line, running back, sliding. Like it's not meant for that.
No,
So it's like it's like the way the game's played is almost like a hindrance to the players in a sense.
yeah, I agree. I mean, think
Mm.
about when the Warriors are at their best, they're going with that small ball lineup. They're going
Yeah.
small and
Mm-hmm.
but no, AD can't be having 12 points in a game, man, in the playoffs. Like, come on.
That should never happen. That should never happen.
Four of
Could you
4 you
13.
imagine in the
can't.
2000s, Shaq having 12 points?
Oh, he'd be
Oh man,
no. I can never imagine that because that's Shaq.
he would have sat himself on the bench. Like,
For,
hey, that's unacceptable. I'm gonna sit myself down. Like, I'm sorry
I
about
gotta
that.
send a spoiler, man. Trey Young, man, 15 in the fourth, just stole one on the road.
Ooh. So what's
oh,
that
they
series right
did.
now?
Damn, they
Just
were
stole
down
one on
third.
the road. DeJounte Murray come back
Ooh,
next game.
they were
That
down.
could go to 7.
Oh,
They were down
wow,
12-13 in the fourth, or when I
That
was
could
watching last.
that could go to
wow,
7,
wow.
man.
Damn, Trey Young had 38. Ooh.
Is next game in Atlanta?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, It
Yeah,
is?
yeah, because they're in one. They're that was game 5.
Yeah.
They go 1-1-1 now, so it's this is
Woo!
going
It's
7.
going to
Yes,
7.
sir.
It's going to 7.
Because
It's going to 7.
Murray gonna come out with a different type of energy after
Yes, sir.
the suspension.
He
Everyone
just can't
does.
be headbutting
No,
refs, man. He
cool,
can't be
man.
doing that.
God.
I didn't even see
He
that.
just
I
walked
didn't
up
see,
on
It
him.
I
was
didn't see
after the
that.
He did.
game.
I shouldn't say that. He didn't headbutt him, but like he walked up on him and
Chest
kind of
bumped
like
him.
got real like, hey man, you're kind of too close to my face right now.
That's
So
crazy. That's crazy.
What about
but
Austin Reeves? What do you guys think about Austin Reeves? Are we sold on him
I,
yet?
I am. I was watching him at Oklahoma. Whew.
mm,
He got it, man. He got it. And I think him playing with Brian that just really shot his confidence through the roof.
Absolutely.
yeah,
And he's not
yeah,
like
his
timid when he's on the floor with Brian. Like, I done seen him wave Brian off before. Like, so like it's like he go get one. How tall is
yeah.
he? How big is he, man?
He looks like he's kind of long. I'm gonna look that up here real
How
quick.
big is he? Because it's like I'm taking him over. What is the guy name? What is his name? What is his name?
He's
Alex
Caruso.
Caruso,
6'5",
Caruso.
197.
6'5". Yeah, so he's got some good
But
length.
he
So who
got
you taking, Reeves? Who you taking, Reeves or Caruso?
Reeves any day of the week because he can play offense.
True.
Yeah,
Caruso can't go give me 23.
No, I mean I know
and
LA
Reeves
loved him,
like
but no.
Reeves has like, even though his career is young still, he's kind of has a bag that he can go to like
True.
get to his shots a little bit.
That's true.
You know, like I was watching whatever game it was where he went off recently. There was obviously a bunch of highlights going off, and like he has some counters. He has some straight line drives where he can come to a stop and like pull up and shoot.
Mhm.
You know, where like a lot of young players, I feel like it's either get to the rim really too fast and throw something up over some high hands, or you know, maybe rush a shot or just shooting spot ups. But like he really has a bag where he can put it on the ground and make some stuff happen.
Crazy to say, I feel like we're not gonna see him really pull out all the real tools until he leaves the Lakers.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
agree.
I agree with
He's
that.
gonna get paid. Somebody gonna offer him some money.
Absolutely.
Somebody.
That's the type
Absolutely.
of thing that Memphis is missing, though. Like Memphis, Kyle Kuzma tweeted it last night. Memphis is missing a bucket getter. Like someone, I know Desmond Bain can get you buckets. John Moran can give you something, but who else on their team can come out and really just go ISO ball, break a guy down and get you a bucket?
Nobody.
You know, like you need that guy coming off the bench that you can put in late game. Like, hey, we need buckets. Go give us 10 straight. Give us like 10 straight if you can. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's true.
And they're lacking that.
Absolutely.
But to your point,
ready
I
to
want to
switch
see
gears
real
here?
quick to his point.
Go
I
ahead.
want to see Warriors Lakers, and then I really want
yeah.
to see Warriors Suns. So
I
bad.
would
forgot that's what we started
I
with.
would rather see Bron. I gotta get a Bron and KD, man.
That would
gotta
be
get it.
nice
Oh.
too. Yeah,
I
I
gotta
agree.
Before too long, we have to have that happen.
Oh,
we
absolutely.
gotta see that.
One more time.
Absolutely. We got robbed of LeBron and Kobe, but
Man.
you know, hopefully we can
Could you
get
imagine
LeBron,
that?
KD. Oh,
The
that
damn
would've been
Magic, man.
beautiful.
Hedo Turkoglu just had to have the series of his damn life. Like, bro,
Hedo's nice.
that team
man.
had no business beating the Cavaliers.
That was a good team, though.
You're
Yeah,
right.
I was gonna
No,
say,
you're
like,
you're
That was
right.
a really
the
good
Cavs
team
weren't that good.
around Dwight at that time.
Who?
Mm-hmm.
And but
Dwight
right, I
Howard.
think that was like one of the first NBA. Like that team could translate
forgot
easily
about-
in today's game.
You
I
think so?
forgot about.
Oh, I agree with that actually. Yeah,
I think
'Cause
they were
yeah.
like one of they almost, I don't want to say they played a college style offense, but it was like damn near like 4 out 1 in almost. I mean, Ray Lewis was stretching it.
Yeah.
Not Ray Lewis,
Yeah, I forgot
Rashard
that.
Lewis. I said
Rashard
Ray
Lewis.
Lewis.
They had Mikal Petrus too. Mikal Petrus
I
was on
remember
that
him.
team.
I remember
I'm
him.
pulling up the roster right now because they had some dudes
He had
I
that
can't
funky
think
jumper.
of.
It was kind of.
They had
It went in.
I
They
think
had
JJ
another
Redick
guard.
played.
Yeah, he
I
did.
think
He was
JJ
young.
Redick was young. Yeah.
Rayford Alston was on that team.
Jameer Nelson?
Marcin Gortat, Jameer Nelson.
Jameer Nelson.
Bro, Ty Lue was on that team. What?
Damn.
He never played, but what? Courtney Lee was on that squad.
I
They
like
had some
Courtney
dudes.
Graham.
Okay, yeah, you're right. They had some guys.
That
They
team
did.
They were a good
easily
team.
translate into today's NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody can
Yeah,
shoot.
they got people that could shoot it.
And then they got the one big guy down low that they really need.
That's like they Steven Adams, the big Gortat.
Yep.
Absolutely. But Dwight, that was like
Prime D Howard.
next level Dwight Howard.
Yes.
Yeah, that was like
I was all NBA.
when Dwight Howard was doing stupid
All
shit.
NBA. That was his 4th year in the league.
Dwight Howard is a monster.
Yeah. I want to switch gears, man. I want to get into. We're already almost 30 minutes into this thing. we talked about just the NBA. This is what happens every time. But I want to switch gears, bro, just to talk about some of your experiences through basketball.
Yeah.
Obviously, I wanted to talk about where we connected at Sheridan, but even beyond that, of beforehand in high school, we were talking earlier about you were a pretty dang good high school player and ranked, and kind of what your kind of recruitment experience was like being a player that had that, and then why you chose Sheridan in the long run to be your first choice.
So for starters, man, I got introduced to the game like late. When I say introduced to it, I mean I started playing like very late. So I started playing 8th grade year. You know what I'm saying? Like actually like hitting the scene. And I come from a place that's Milwaukee's like known for hoopers. We might not got a big national stage, but we're known for hoopers.
Mm-hmm.
You got Kevon Looney, Jordan Poole, Dwight Bikes, Devin Harris, Latrell Sprewell. I went to the same high school Latrell Sprewell went to.
Yeah.
So my freshman year. So getting introduced to basketball here was like it was like a shock, to be totally honest. Because I don't want to say I didn't think I was that good. I always knew I was good, but obviously, I was a big guy. I was like a big guy. I was like 6'8", 360 big, like that type of big. As a kid, though, like I was still a kid at the time, so I didn't fully understand, how to use what I had, and I didn't fully understand like the importance of slimming down in order to be productive. That didn't come down the line until about sophomore, junior year. But to double back on just hitting the scene and playing AAU. So I played for the playground elite. That was like that's a Nike team here. We was EYBL. That was my first time going to Boo Williams. I played there, and I played for Adidas team, which is Devin Harris' team, Spartans. So I played on both circuits, so I got a chance to see pretty much. And I'm in the same class as like Jabari Parker and Andrew Wiggins and those guys. So I vividly remember playing against Jabari and Mac Irvin Fire. Well, I played against Jabari in the Marquette camp here. That was like 8th grade year.
The team camp?
Huh?
The team camp?
Yeah, the team camp, the Marquette team camp. And then I played again. We played against each other in AAU in Mac Irvin Fire. I always tell everybody, I'm like, man, I haven't got my ass bust by a lot of bigs. But Thomas Hamilton the third was legit the first big to after I got done playing against him, that's how I said to myself, like, man, I'm really not that good. Like, it was that. And we were in the same grade, same age. And I just seen, it's like almost like he knew what he was doing with his body. He knew exactly what move he was about to go to. And then come to find out, his dad played in the pros. His dad played in the pros in the 80s.
Oh.
So, and his dad's like a Chicago legend. So, Mac Irvin Fire is based out of Chicago. So, you already know how to.
So what is that? Is that just a big tournament? Or what's the Mac Irvin Fire?
Mac Irvin Fire is the AAU team. Yeah, that's the team. That's AAU team. Mac Irvin Fire is probably one of the most historic. It's Mean Streets and that's the team D Rose and Eric Gordon played for.
Yeah.
And then it's Mac Irvin Fire. Like when you talk Chicago, those is like two elite.
Those are the two week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
them is the two programs. So playing against
Okay.
them. So my first year in AAU, I had a real good year. I was eighth grade going into being a freshman, and I vividly remember we played Houston Hoops in Houston. I had a good ass game, and after that game, I got invited to the Fab Frost All American Camp. That was my first
Mm-hmm.
time in Kentucky, and I didn't even realize, knowing what I know now. Back then, I didn't even realize what the fuck was going on, man. Just be totally honest. Like all I knew was I got invited to the camp and I'm going. I didn't realize
mm-hmm.
like what type of players was gonna be there. I didn't realize like what scout. I didn't realize the importance of it. Like really. So that was
Right.
my first time at Rupp Arena. It was held at Kentucky. And what's crazy is at the time, I didn't know who DeMarcus Cousins and John Wall was. Like if I seen them, I wouldn't know who they was. And I
Wow.
seen them. Like that was my first time.
Yeah.
I swear, bro, that was my first time I seen John Wall dunk on somebody playing a one-on-one. First time. And
Mm.
I know exactly who he dunked on. Rest in peace. His name is Tyreek Colder. He's from North Carolina. He was nice. He was nice.
Yeah.
But they North Carolina guys. So my eyes were so big at that camp. And my camp coach, you can do the Googles on this, was the coach
I'm
for
about to.
Finley, the Finley Prep. His name was Michael. It's Michael. I don't want to butcher. It's Michael Pettis. He's like an Asian guy. It's like Michael Pettis or Michael Petrus or something like that. I think it's Pettis. He was. If you Google
Michael Peck.
Michael Peck, that's
Peck.
exactly who it was.
Peck.
Is he
Yeah.
Asian?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
that was my coach. That was my coach for our team. You know what I'm saying? So this is this
Yeah.
this how this how much I didn't realize. I didn't really realize where I was at, and I didn't. It
Mm-hmm.
took me a while to realize like the opportunity and the skills I possessed. I didn't, bro. To be totally honest with you, H, I didn't realize that until I got to college.
Yeah.
Like I went,
Now bro, that's when I realized it.
hey,
That's when I
bro. I
realized it.
don't.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's crazy. I don't want to say I took it for granted that whole time. It was more so just a blur. I was just a kid having fun playing basketball. I don't want to say I wasn't taking it serious because I was. In high school, so just to fast forward to high school, I'm gonna tell you how I got to Sheridan. It's gonna trip you out.
All
So
right.
in high school, I transferred high schools. I went to Washington High School my freshman year, and I transferred from there and went to Riverside. So my first year at Riverside, our team our team went undefeated in the city. So we were 15-0 in the city, clean sweep. Uh, and from that point forward, college that's like the first time I seen college coaches like coming to the high schools, coming to our practice, open
Mm-hmm.
gyms. But we had a real good guy, like our best player. His name was Tristan White. If I had to compare him to anybody, it would be D Wade. Like that's how he moved.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was like that's
Yeah.
how he played.
Mm-hmm.
And every college coach that came in there that seen me play, it was the same thing. Same thing as when I got to Wyoming. It was the same thing. It's like, man, you got all the tools. You just got to drop this weight, man. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's all it ever. That's all I was ever hearing. So once I got to share. Oh, so I'm gonna tell you how I got to share.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't forget that
I'm gonna tell you
part.
how I got to Sheridan, right? So I have an older cousin named Stephen Ivory. That his nickname Buck. He went to Sheridan.
Yeah, I know who that is. Yeah,
Yes.
I don't know him. I don't know him, but I know he played at
Right. So he
Sheridan.
went to
Yeah.
Sheridan, and it's crazy how things play out. So he went to Sheridan, and that's one of my closest cousins. Like he played in a part in raising me. Like to be totally honest with you, that's like an older brother to me still to this day. But it's actually my blood cousin. So I'm growing up, man, and I knew he was far away. Like I knew he was far away
Mm-hmm.
at college. And when he used to come home and visit, he used to always give me shorts and shit and hoodies. And around this time he came home. This last time he had came home, he had gave me a pair of game shorts. So I'm in my high school. Fast forward, I'm in my high school
Hectic.
open gym. And we got college coaches coming. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who coming. I just know we got college coaches coming. So I'm in my high school open gym. I get a pair of the yellow Sheridan
Mm-hmm.
shorts, and I put them
The
on.
long, super
The
long ones.
super long joints. So I put them on.
Yeah.
I'm about to go downstairs and hoop, just like a regular old day.
Mm-hmm.
Not knowing that the head coach of Sheridan basketball team is downstairs. The head coach, not the assistant, the head coach. So I walk in and he's like, nice shorts. And I now that I think about it, I'm like, okay, whatever, man. This dude weird as
Yeah.
hell. So I'm like, cool, okay, yeah, cool, nice shorts or whatever. So fast forward, we go through open gym. I'm playing. And after the open gym, Smiles pulled me to the side. He talked to me. He like, yeah, man. So where you get them shorts from? And I'm like, damn, that's the first thing he said to me. It's like, where you get them shorts
Yeah.
from? I'm like,
Yeah.
wow. I'm like, I got them from my cousin. He's like, who's your cousin? I said, my cousin named Buck. And he's like, oh, really? I'm like, and then that's when he told me he was the head coach of Sheridan College, and
Yeah.
and it was actually funny, man, because he seen me as a 16-year-old kid. You know what I'm saying? So he seen me like fairly early. So fast forward. I want to fast forward to like my senior year in high school, and when I knew I had to go to junior college, I had a couple
Mm-hmm.
D1s, but I didn't qualify as far as the grades.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't have that many D1s. Like I had Marquette was showing interest. UWM didn't really show too much interest. And when I say UWM, I mean UWM Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. Yeah.
So the Wisconsin Badgers, I went to their team camp. I actually balled out at their team camp. They showed mild interest, but for the most part, I didn't have any offers like from any D1s coming out of come. I just had a lot of interest. I had interest from
Yeah.
man. I had interest from Notre Dame. I actually talked. Like I actually sat down and talked and shook Rick Majerus' hand. like like
Yeah.
me and Rick
R.I.P.
Majerus
Rick
actually
Majerus.
actually sat down and talked for about like a good 10,
Mm-hmm.
15 minutes. Uh,
Yeah.
and so that was one of the schools. Rick Majerus in St. Louis, they were like thinking about offering me, like
Mm-hmm.
seriously. But once I knew I didn't qualify as far as the grades, I just decided it was between Gillette and it was between Sheridan.
Oh
And you know
God.
what's crazy, H? I actually committed. I actually verbally committed to Gillette.
I think you told me
I actually
that one
verbally
time.
That's
committed to
wild.
Gillette.
Because I'm gonna say two things here. When you got to the part where you were talking about you were wearing the Sheridan College
Yeah.
shorts um to open gym, that's when it clicked. I was like, oh, he's told me this story before. And then that one, um, I can't remember what we were
The
about to
Gillette
say.
when
What we were
I
talking about.
verbally committed.
Oh, yeah, I think you told me that before too. But actually, side note, Bush is from
I was
Gillette.
about
Oh
to say
wow.
small world, yeah, because I know
Yeah,
Neary and Neary's kids very well. Like anytime we see him, it's
the
Yeah,
it's
coach.
I
like,
Yeah,
remember
"What's
yeah.
up,
Neary.
Neary?" Like, whoa,
Yeah.
you know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? Like, so that's crazy. But
Yeah,
Gillette's a good.
man. And,
Those
and,
are two good
and
JUCO programs.
I didn't
Great ones.
and
Yeah.
you know what? I didn't take a visit to Gillette. So I remember
Mm-hmm.
I remember them telling me that they couldn't get me out on a visit for some reason. It was something with some money. But
Mm-hmm.
I think it was my senior year, if I'm not mistaken. Marino, Coach D came.
Agree. Yeah, yeah,
And Coach D came see me play it, and that was probably one of my best games in high school. I think I had my career high. I think I was like 36 or something like that. And and
mm-hmm.
he came. He had an iPad. I remember clear as day, man. He had an iPad. You know, back at
Yeah.
that
Of
time, that was
course.
a big deal.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah,
Yeah, you were a
you
boss if
pull
you had
out
an
an
iPad at
iPad
that
back
point.
then, it was like, whoa. So he pulled out
Yeah.
the iPad. He's showing me the campus. He showed me the dome. And once I seen that, he was like, "Yeah, man, we want to get you out on a visit." And shit, when I committed on my visit. Once I got there,
That's
I
yeah.
forgot the guy's
That's
name. That was my. He was from Chicago. He had dreads.
John Ruffin. We called him Flocka.
Yeah, that's who. That's who was my
Yeah.
shadow. That's who shadow and Vic. That was my first.
Bro, that's what I wanted to ask you about that of just like what your like I obviously remember because that was my freshman year. You know, when you came on your
Yeah.
visit, that was my freshman year, and I remember the most vivid thing I remember is after the game. I can't remember if we won or lost. You were standing in the corner, you know, over there, and I was like, okay, this is a recruit or whatever. And I saw how big you were. I was like, this dude, you know, probably has just rocks for hands, and then I see you after coach gets done talking, you're out there by yourself after the game and people are out on the floor and I'm just talking with people and I'm watching you shoot around by yourself and just the butteriest touch, dude. Like, just buttery. And I'm like, oh, like this dude's got great touch.
Hey.
And then I was like, okay.
Hey, you know what's crazy? So once me and Smiles actually, once he knew I was so on my visit, they kept bringing up a guy by the name of LP Lamont. Kept bringing up Lamont. And once Vic seen me shoot and I was dribbling, he was like, man, you remind me of Lamont so much, man. And just to double back on that, so the first thing I learned how to do when I learned how to play basketball was shoot. Like I didn't learn how to shoot a layup. I learned how to shoot a jump shot. My uncle he used to tell me just sit in front of the hoop and just work your way back. Just keep working your way back.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what that I owe that to him. You know, as far as that.
Yeah.
Obviously, you seen how big I was. But you know what? I didn't even realize. I didn't ever think I was that big, and that sounds crazy to say.
Like when you said 360 or whatever, I wouldn't have guessed 360. You know, like that. I don't know what you were when you came on your visit, but like you were a big dude. But I wasn't like, oh, this dude is like way too big to play basketball or whatever. Right. I was like, because I've hooped with dudes that are big dudes. I had a big fella in high school that was just like you, like bigger guy that just had just some silky touch.
Yeah. Big G?
Big G.
Bro,
I
Big
was
G.
if you knew who that was.
Hey, Big G sound like he got the shot on him too.
Bro,
Big
my
G
God. Had the nicest touch I've ever seen in my entire life. Straight up the nicest touch. You get him in the post, he'd give you like a little dream shake, just float it up and go in. Or he'd step out to the 3-point line and catch that thing.
Yeah. It was on the perimeter too. Like he had a wet ball.
Yeah. So,
but
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
So, and crazy story I'm about to tell you, bro. So, when how you come out for the summer? I think you were there. If I'm not,
I was there.
Yeah, you was there.
Mm-hmm.
So you come. Keem was my roommate. I come out for the summer. So my first summer there, I think I did like the first month. I was just getting acclimated to the workouts and how my day by day was gonna be going. And I remember like that first week, I had to step on the scale. I remember that first week, Coach Smiley made me step on the scale, and I had gained like 10 pounds. Because and I knew why I gained the weight. So like that was the first time I was ever working out that hard. Like that was some shit when I first got there. Mm-hmm. I'm like, man, what the fuck? I'm like, what the fuck have I got myself into? You know what I'm saying? So I got there and I'm working out, but after the workouts, I'm eating like whole pizzas. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm eating like 15 to 20 wings. So it's like I'm smashing shit at this point. Mm-hmm. And I'm basically like wasting the workouts because I'm doing that and I'm getting up and I'm working out again.
Exactly.
So Smiles came to me. I never told nobody this. Smiles came to me and he was like, man, if you don't lose the weight, I got to send you back home. Straight up. He's like, man, I got to take the scholarship back. Wow. I got to send you back home. He's like, if you don't lose the weight. So once he told me that, he introduced me to Nikki. He introduced me to his wife. Yeah. And after that, bro, I didn't look back, bro. After that, I did not look back.
Bro, Nikki put us through my freshman year put us through the hardest workout we had all year. Like, and it wasn't even, I remember I was sore for like, and not just like where it's sore and then it kind of fades
No,
away,
it's
but
like
it's
it's
still there.
there.
It was like legitimately sore for like 4 or 5 straight days.
I think to this day, I don't think I've met a person more in shape than that woman.
No, she's an
At
animal.
all.
She is just
I owe them
beast.
so much, man. I feel like I owe them so
Yeah.
much, man. Because without them and instilling that in me, like I get up today and still work out like every day before I get on the road. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
if I hadn't had that, I don't know what would have happened, man. Like, cause that summer I lost I lost well over 120 pounds, man. Like I went from like 365. My highest was like 385. I went from 385 to 275 when I got to Cal State Bakersfield. Like I was a whole different player, Hilky. Like when I got to Cal State
Oh,
Bakersfield, I was really like, yo. Like that's when I realized like, yo, I really got some shit to me. And what made me realize that was I was playing behind a pro. His name Ali
yeah.
Ahmed. You know what I'm saying? And he's from Egypt. He played for the national team. Like he was the center. He was the guy.
Yeah.
And he was the guy at Cal State Bakersfield. Like that was our best player. And I remember I got to Bakersfield and I remember I went in the coach's office. And he told me to sit down. He looked at me, he like, man, you ain't ready for Ali. He just looked at me. He was like, "You ain't ready for Ali," because Ali wasn't there. He wasn't. He was still in Egypt when I got there. So while we had to wait on him to get there, and I remember I was so eager for this man to get to the States, man. I was so, and I remember his first day there. His first day there, we had open run, and I went right at him, dog. I went right.
Yeah.
He went at me too. This how I knew that he was
Yeah. Yeah.
legit. You know what I'm saying? Ali was just like me. Ali probably couldn't jump over a stack of paper. But he could use both hands. He had all types of moves. He had a touch out this world. He was about like 6'9", about 285.
What was his name? Ali
Ali
what?
Ahmed. ALY AHMED.
I'm about to look this dude's
Hey,
highlights
Hills.
up.
Side note, real quick,
Yeah.
because I told my mom to bring me this. And this is, let me see. That's me guarding Big G, bro. Look at dog. That dude is huge. But
Big G is
Oh, thank
big,
you for
man.
that. Thank you.
Big G is
look,
big, dog.
that's
Bro,
like two of
you
me.
have to
That's two of me right
can
there.
you send me that picture?
I'll
Like
try.
just
Yeah,
scan it.
yeah.
Bro, scan it or something and send me that.
Who
Oh man,
who is
thank you
this?
for that.
Who is the, I don't know if you can see him that well. Who is that?
I
His name
can't
was
really
like
tell, man.
Chandler or something. Oh God, I cannot think of his name.
I can't really
He was
tell. It's too
another
grainy.
light skinned kid on that team because it was Big G, Abel, and another kid that was younger. And he played he was there until his freshman year, I think, in Laramie. Because that Laramie team, my grade was nice.
Derek Graves. Derek Graves.
Yes. Bro. He okay, that's who it was because he went to did he go to East?
Yeah,
Okay.
he went to East after freshman year.
He dunked on someone so he dunked on us so hard in
Yeah,
the
he was
in
nasty.
I had to
regionals. I
block him
was
in the
like
bathroom.
one of those dunks where you look over to your teammate on the bench like, damn, that was
You're like, hell yeah.
yeah.
Did you find Ali yet?
Oh, I got sidetracked by what Bush was
Yeah,
telling
man.
me about because
That's
that just killed
yeah.
me, man.
Ali was the first player that made me realize. Yeah, Ali was the first player that made me realize like I actually had some like I had like I knew what the fuck.
You could go
Yes,
at this
like
dude.
Ali made me
Yeah,
realize like yo I'm a pro. I could be a pro.
yeah,
Cause
yeah.
and what's crazy, so just to fast forward, because a lot of crazy shit happened at Bakersfield, and it did, but it was like that probably was like some of the best basketball I ever been a part of in my life, because that was the first year that we went to the NCAA tournament. We won our tournament. We
Yeah.
played Buddy Hield in the first round of the tournament in Oklahoma. That's when I first realized, like, yo, these other people on the team is cold too. You know,
What
like,
year
Yeah.
was that?
what year was what
Was
year?
that the year he went to the Final Four?
I mean, did they go to the tournament? How many years did Buddy Hield play? 2?
You're it would have been my because you're 1 year younger than me, and then so you would have had 1 year after Sheridan, and then Bakersfield.
Yeah,
So it was your junior year at
yeah,
Bakersfield.
yeah. Junior year
So that would have been
Bakersfield.
my senior year. It would have been
15, 16?
15,
Yeah,
16.
he was going
Yeah,
to the
yep.
That
NBA
was
that
the
year.
year.
After that,
That
he was
was
going
the
to the
yep.
NBA.
Yeah.
That was the year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we played Oklahoma the first round of the tournament. I think we lost. We were down at half by like 6. Buddy Hield
Yeah.
only had probably like 4 points at half.
What seed were you? What seed did you
We
guys
was
end
the
up
last
getting?
seed. Like I think we was 8.
No, you
Oh, you
15. You
were?
had to have been 15 because OU was the 2 seed that year.
Oh,
I
gotcha.
think.
I remember Selection
I
Sunday.
could
That
be
was my
wrong.
first time being a part of Selection Sunday. So
Hey.
that was a good time, man.
Well,
I had hurt my
what
head, so when I said a lot of crazy shit had happened, bro. So I had suffered a head injury. Ali, he elbowed me in the head while we was in practice. Uh,
I think I remember seeing that on
yeah,
Instagram. You were putting it up, and you had a big
I
old
had, I
gash
had
in your
caught an
head.
elbow to the head, man, and it's kind of crazy. I caught the elbow to the head. But when you hooping, you just you get hit. It's whatever. No, I
Yeah.
caught the elbow to the head. Went home, showered, went to sleep. Woke up with an egg on my head, this big, man, and I got infected that quick. You know what I'm saying? They
Ooh.
had to cut. They basically had to cut in my head, drain it out, and sew it back up. So
Ah,
I was sidelined for about a good about about damn near 3 months for the when that happened.
Well, you can't mess with those. Like when it's on your head and it's close to your
And
brain and
what's
stuff,
crazy
like you can't.
at the time, nobody had you don't really hear about somebody suffering a head injury in basketball. So when it
Yeah.
happened, it was kind of like it really threw me off. And we were trying to see because I had played in more than 5 games because the head coach was trying to see if he could
Uh,
redshirt me. But I had played in more than 5 games, so I had to write an appeal. We had a whole process going to try to get that year
yeah.
back. But when that happened, that's when I knew like, okay, they got plans for me.
Yeah.
Like they really, because you ain't gonna do that with no player. You
no.
don't
No,
you don't
absolutely.
plan on having around. So that when that happened, that's how I knew he had plans for me. But I had made a decision to transfer when I found out I was having a son.
Hmm.
I met my child's mother at Cal State Bakersfield too. She played for the women's team, and she
Mm.
was from St. Louis. So St. Louis to Milwaukee is a 5-hour drive. So once I found out I was about to have a son, I was like, man, I'm about to just go get closer back to the house for real, for real.
Hmm.
And I remember vivid. I remember playing this day, man. We was playing open gym, and my roommate Matt, me and Matt was on the same team. And this particular day in open gym, mind you, it's already out that I'm transferring. So, and it's
Yeah.
crazy that they still even letting me play in open gym. You know what I'm saying? And they had a rule.
Yeah. Oh,
They had
yeah.
a rule because we were Adidas school. They had a rule that we couldn't wear nothing but Adidas stuff. And I was transferring, so I remember that day I had wore the black and blue Hirachis, the old joints.
Mm.
I remember I wore them, and ain't nobody say nothing, but everybody kept looking at me crazy. Everybody knew I was leaving.
Everybody knew what
Everybody
was
knew I
going
was
on.
leaving. And the head coach was there, and I remember this day, man. For some reason, this day, dog, we was whooping ass in open gym, man. It was like everything was
Hmm.
going right. Like I don't even remember missing that day. I don't remember our team. I don't even remember our team losing. But I remember after the game, after we was done playing, he had pulled me to the side. He was like, "Man, if you stay here, I can make you an all-league player, man. I remember he said that to me. And I looked at him, I shook my head, and I just walked off. And that was the last time I heard from Rob
Mm-hmm.
Barnes. That was his name. But
Yeah.
good. That was a good man because once I entered the transfer portal, it's nothing how it was when I was there.
So you had the transfer portal was a thing when you
Yeah,
transferred?
but I was just about to say it's nothing how it is now. Like
It wasn't as
Got
lenient.
you.
It
yeah,
was not as lenient.
it's nowhere close because is that still the rule when you transfer? You got to sit out a year.
No,
Not any,
no,
you
you
got
can.
there's a one-time transfer rule
Yeah,
now.
See. So when I did it, I still had to sit out a year. So, but I remember when I entered the transfer portal, I got a call from North Dakota State. I got a call from South Dakota State. I got a call from Kennesaw State. I got a call from Prairie View A&M. I got a call from Jackson State, and I got a call from Cleveland State. So when I heard Cleveland State, I'm like, "Yo, that's close
Yeah.
to the crib right there." And it's Cleveland State. I knew Norris Cole had went there. I'm like, "Yo, let me
Yeah.
see what this is about." So I talked to the coach from Cleveland State, and when I say Rob Barnes, my coach for Cal State, he's a real good man. Like you don't really hear coaches like putting in a good word for a player that's trying to leave the program, but like he had nothing but good stuff to say about me. Like, and he didn't have to do
Mm,
that. You know what I'm saying? He
that's a
basically
real coach right
yeah,
there.
and
absolutely.
he basically was like, you wouldn't be wrong, taking PJ. So we got that worked out, and they offered me a full ride in Cleveland, and the real reason I was leaving is one because I wanted to be closer to home because I was having a son, but the second reason was my coach at Cal State told me in order to have my child and my his mom at the time be with me, we had to be married. I'm like, huh? I ain't about to force me to marry this girl just to have her with me.
Mm,
And I remember we kept going back and forth with that. Uh, yeah, he told me that.
That's weird. What?
He told
That's
me
wild.
that. And I remember we kept going back and forth with that. And then I just made my mind up. Once I had came back so I went out to Cleveland for the visit. And this will have me sold, man. That's why I say my little basketball journey was like a movie, man. So when I went out to Cleveland, that was the year that the Indians was in the World Series and the Cavs was in the finals. So
mm.
when I took my visit, the city was cracking. You know what
Oh,
I'm
I'm
saying? This is
sure
not
that
so
was
I'm coming from
stupid.
Bakersfield. Bakersfield is like the country of California. It's not like you going to
Yeah.
school in
Yeah.
LA. You know what I'm saying? Like you
Hmm.
in
No,
you are,
definitely
I'm
not.
an hour, I'm hours away. I'm like the closest I'm like 2 hours away from Fresno. Maybe shorter than that.
Hmm.
So I'm a drive away from Vegas and LA. So once I got to Cleveland and I seen and it was just an upgrade from everything, like the facility, the
Yeah.
locker room. Like now looking back at it, when I was at Cal State Bakersfield, our year that the year I was there was the year that like set the years up now. If you get what I'm saying, like how they got a new locker
Mm.
room, how they got all this new gear, and it's like
Hmm.
that team that won the conference
Laid that
we
foundation.
laid that and made all that possible. So when I got to
Hmm.
Cleveland State, it was I low key felt like I was like this was like slick on some pro shit because it was just like damn, it's like we everything is just like I can only imagine how a high major is. That was
Yeah.
like low to mid. I was like mid major. We
Uh-huh.
played games. We had like 5 games at the Quicken Loans Arena. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Hmm.
all the NBA teams. When the NBA teams came in and played the Cavaliers, they used our practice gym. So it's
Hmm.
like I seen all types of players. It was a real life upgrade, but I couldn't play. I couldn't play. So
Hmm.
that's what really and I was a full-time father at the time. So that's what really was
Yeah.
like that's what really kind of checked me out of like I didn't realize I was slowly getting checked out of hooping because
Yeah.
I had my son with me every day through school. I was like,
I remember you say that on one of your songs, I think. I think July 4th or
man,
whatever
like,
it is.
bro, I was like, I was walking around campus with a stroller, bro. Like
Yeah.
from 6 a.m. workouts, I get back at the house from 7 to 5. I got my son with me in every class. At my individuals, my my academic advisor was watching my son when I'm in workouts, when I'm in my individuals. So when I get out of individuals, I go
Wow.
get my son from my academic advisor. I got to go to the next class. I go to class.
Mm.
My son is on the sideline while I'm in practice. When I get out of practice, I get him, and
Your academic advisor was coming to practice to watch your
so
son,
we're so
and like what?
how the gym was in Cleveland State. The practice gym was in the same gym as the main gym. So we was just in the
Mm.
basement. So all we had to do was go in the basement, and her office was down in the basement. So I would like to just go to her
Oh,
office
gotcha.
and drop my son off while I'm in individuals or practice, and that
So
just
Mm.
you were taking being a father more serious than really like
yeah.
anything else at the time, right? See, man, shout out to you for that real quick. Like that's huge.
Absolutely.
That's big time, man.
Absolutely,
Because like
man.
I was just thinking like it could have been real easy for like someone to make the decision like, nah, that's too much pressure. Like I got hoop dreams, stuff like that. You know what I mean? But
Looking
having a like
and I
that's
appreciate
gonna mean a lot to him.
no, and I appreciate that, bro. Because looking back on it, that's what Coach Barnes was basically telling me to do. He was basically telling me like,
Hmm.
stay here. Your child and your child's mom gonna be fine in St. Louis. And I'm not saying he's wrong for that, but I was a first time father, and I just couldn't see myself like being in California and they in St. Louis. And I know how college
Hmm.
is, especially when you playing ball. Like I knew I was never gonna see him. Like I just
You
knew
ain't
I
going
was
out to
never
St.
gonna see him,
Louis, yeah.
especially at that time where he was just born. It was a lot. I was there for his first steps, first teeth, first words. Like I was there for all that, and I could only imagine like
Hmm.
if I would have stayed in Cali, like I wouldn't have felt right, and I just would have missed out on a lot. I would have missed out on a whole lot.
Hmm. No, that's a
So
beautiful thing that you
yeah,
decided to do
man.
that.
So, but that whole little journey, that journey was. That was a hell of a ride, man. It really was. And even to this day.
It's
Oh, go
interesting.
ahead.
It's interesting to hear all of this stuff because I've been watching you and keeping track of you from
Yeah.
afar when I can and following what you've been doing, but it's interesting to hear that all the details and all of the other um, responsibilities and things that you were doing on top of what being a basketball player is. And I know you said you checked out, but we all know what it takes to be a college
Yeah.
basketball player. Like that, we've all seen it, and it's it is a full-time job on top of your school, on top of what you have being a father. So like that's a beautiful thing that you just decided that like you have this hoop dream and you became the player that you are, but you decided that that's going to be put on the back burner because something
Right.
else is more
And you know
important
what's
right now.
crazy, Hilgy? Not to, and this just popped up in my head, man.
Oh,
One of
you're
my
good.
most embarrassing moments of my life, man. I had practice. We had a 6 a.m. practice. 6 a.m. practice. I had my son with me, and we got in trouble for something, man. It was for something. I don't remember what it was for, but I know I didn't have like I wasn't around, so it's like I felt like I shouldn't be in here running, but I didn't say that.
Mm-hmm.
I never was that
Yeah.
type of player. So I got to the gym. I get to the gym, man. I put my son in the stroller, wide awake. He wide awake. He in the stroller and he's facing the court, so he sees the court. And we had to run 22s. He had to run 22s, man.
Oh.
And I remember myself running, and I quit. I stopped running. I literally stopped running. Uh, and I remember Rob Edwards. Rob Edwards. He played for the played for OKC G League team right now. He played at Arizona State. Best player. You might be seeing him in the league in a couple years. But I remember when I stopped running, and I looked over at my son, I'm like, damn. I just broke down, bro. Cause I was already like over it. You know what I'm saying? Just being at practice. And it would have helped if I could have played.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had to sit out a year. So it's
Absolutely.
like I think that's what really did it for me when I was like, man, this ain't. And then what's crazy is the people that recruited me after that year, Gary Waters retired, and the whole staff is like he retired. He got fired, but he retired, and the people that recruited me, they got fired. So it was a clean shot. So the coach that was having us run was Dennis. I think his name is Dennis Edwards. He was coaching for the Spurs for a minute. He was assistant coach for the Spurs for a minute. And I just remember being in that gym that day. And I think that was the very day that I remember like, yo, I'm done with ball. I vividly remember like, yo, I'm done with basketball. And you know me I was never the type of player like to be combative or quit on something. You seen me go through a lot of shit
No,
in Sheridan,
absolutely
bro.
not.
So that's how I knew I
Mm-hmm.
had reached like it's it. That's it. And I wanted to say that because that popped in my head. But if somebody was to ask me like, do you remember the moment that you knew you were done playing? Like, I could shoot straight to that moment, bro.
It
It
was
was
that
that
one.
straight that man. It wasn't even nothing. It wasn't even the fact that we was running. It's just the fact like I had that once I asked myself like, yo, what the fuck am I doing in here? It was that. It
Mm-hmm.
was like, yo, what the fuck am I doing here? Once I asked myself
Mm-hmm.
that, it was a wrap. It was a wrap.
Yeah,
But I
man.
love ball, man.
That
I love ball. I love ball. And
we could tell. You could talk about it for days, and I love
for
seeing your
real,
tweets,
man.
and you like that's big reason why we had you on here. But one thing, like, I'm glad it got to that point where you told that story, man, because not even if anybody gets something out of that, but that's a beautiful story of like a message you got to say to all players, and we heard it
Yeah,
a million times at Sheridan, is the ball stops bouncing for everybody at
man.
some
That is a
point.
true
Mm-hmm.
statement.
And it's like you can, it's cool, you can pinpoint that moment,
I
like,
could pinpoint.
and that it was your
Yeah.
son, like it was your son that was looking at you like, man, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Like,
Hey, and it
Too
was
damn early.
crazy because like I
yeah.
said, man, it's like I could pinpoint the moment like I fell in love with ball, and I could pinpoint the moment when I was like, I'm done with it. Not necessarily I
Mm-hmm.
fell out of love with it, but I could just pinpoint the moment where it's like I'm not doing this at this level no more. Not physically, I was just
Well,
like
mm-hmm.
mentally. It's just even when I was there at Cleveland State, bro, I was so excited because I was busting their ass. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of
Yeah.
excitement around me. Like straight up. Like when the guy that I named, Rob Edwards, like it was a lot of excitement for me to play with him. You know, it was a lot of
Mm-hmm.
excitement for that. And the coaches and that's another reason how I knew that I really was good is because when I got there, those coaches, like the main coach that recruited me, he had just
Was
he
gone,
had
right?
so the main coach that recruited me played on that Sweet 16, or I think they went to the Final 14 with Wally Serviak. What college did Wally Serviak go
Mm-hmm.
to?
I can't remember, to be
But
honest
I'll have
my
to
with you.
search it up right now.
Wally
yeah.
Zerbiak. That's a name I
So
haven't heard in a while.
the coach that recruited me played with him. You know what I'm saying? And he played
On that
and
team.
yeah, on that team. And he played with pros.
Miami, Ohio.
There you go right there. Cause
Yeah.
that's in Ohio. That's so
Mm-hmm.
it's like I kept getting the reassurance, like, "Dawg, you got it." I kept getting, so it wasn't that I was lacking in skill. It was just more so off the court, my off the court decisions. And I don't want to make that sound like a bad thing. I always tell everybody when I talk about my journey with ball, like, I didn't stop playing basketball because I had a son. Like, I stopped playing basketball because of the shit that I put myself through as far as leaving schools. I picked my son over ball. That's really, and I don't want to make it seem
Mm-hmm.
like, yo, once I had him, it's like I'm stopping because I had a son. It wasn't that at all. That wasn't it. It was,
Mm-hmm.
I just had too much on my back, and I put myself in a situation that I just couldn't take no more. You know, when you leaving a program that you helped build and helped get to this success, to go to a team. No knock on Cleveland State, but we only won 8 games. We only
Yeah,
won 8 games when I was
they
there.
weren't that. They weren't what you
Yeah,
just
so
came from.
they
That's
were
for sure.
accustomed to losing. Like, that was the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So some of them practices and some of that shit was hard to, like, be in. Like, to be totally honest, there's like some of that shit was just hard to be
Mm-hmm.
around because I just wasn't. I wasn't used to losing anyway, just coming from high school. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
we had went upstate in high school. Like I said, we went 15 on high school. AAU, I was winning. So when people say that, that's
Mm-hmm.
why when I hear these stories about the NBA and the rookies, and then when they get drafted to these teams that just be losing, I low key can connect to it because that's like because the whole attitude of the team and everybody is different. It's not like
Mm-hmm.
it's not a winning camaraderie between everybody. It's like everybody. It's like sections and groups of people. You know,
Well,
instead of
we talked
Mm-hmm.
about that last
Completely.
weekend,
yeah,
or not last week. We said that very same thing on the episode last week. Like losing is like a legit, like, is toxic as hell, and
man.
it's like a cancer that
It's a disease, man.
you can't get rid of it almost. You know what I mean? You have to learn how to just get over that hump, and if it's not just winning, like you said, 8 games, like that's not getting over the hump. It's, can you get to 12 games? Can you get to four? Like get to be
You
competitive and
know,
stuff, like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
and it's coming. We coming from 8 games to just we just won the. I just won a conference. I got a ring.
Hmm.
You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So it's like
Mm-hmm.
that was another thing. All the players at Cleveland State, they was talented, man, talented as hell. But I've
Mm-hmm.
never once through. I'm happy. Two things. Any coaches, I've been blessed to have all good coaches, man. Like, I can't say, and that's, you don't hear that a lot. Just coming from players in college,
No,
like, yo,
definitely not.
any coach I ever had showed me that they genuinely cared about me and did whatever they could to help me. That's going
So
from
that is rare.
That's going from junior college all the way to Division 1, bro. Like I said, when I
Mm-hmm.
went to Rob Barnes and told him I was about to transfer, he could have just been like, all right, cool, just written me off. Like, yeah,
Yeah, get out
it
of
could
here.
have been
Yeah,
like he
absolutely.
still let me come around the team. He still let me use the gym. You know what I'm saying? He made calls for me. So it wasn't like,
Mm-hmm.
even with Gary Waters, like, we had a losing season, but he knew a lot of shit. He knew a lot of the stuff that I was going through having my son and stuff with me. So they used to. He almost brought me in like family there. So it's like, I can't, man. I
Mm-hmm.
have nothing. I have nothing bad to say about my journey. Period.
Well, we talked about that like I can't
Two episodes
remember
ago.
2 episodes
Yeah.
ago
Yeah.
about just it's it's very easy to see the coaches that and the staffs that are about their players and what's best for
Mm-hmm.
their players and the ones that say that but they're really not
Right.
about that. And it's it's good to hear that even through a losing, maybe a losing culture at Cleveland State,
They was still
or,
good people.
even
They
you
was still
hear
good people.
exactly. And even you hear like, even in good programs and winning cultures, you hear of toxic environments and of coaches that like do their players dirty or don't help them out in
Right.
situations like that unless you're the next NBA prospect, but they don't treat all their players that way. And so hearing that, especially at the Division I level, and as it gets more serious and more of a business, that there are those staffs that are going to be like, no, we're still about our players.
And that was just to piggyback on that Cal State Bakersfield team. That Cal State Bakersfield team had 8 junior college players. So we already came in.
Yes.
We already had came in with a bond that was like, because we've been through the grind. So like to be at a D1 to us, that Cal State Bakersfield was like, it felt like Kentucky to us, just because where we just had came from. For real, and that's no knock on Sheridan, because like Sheridan.
No, dude, I get you. Like that is so serious.
But that's just how when you play junior college ball, you just got a appreciation just for any level that you get to advance to. Like I'm just lucky. I'm lucky because to even, I don't want to say I'm lucky to go Division I, but I didn't get to that. Man, I know we had an hour 15, but
it's all good, man.
So
we're rolling.
The point of me going from JUCO, because when you left that summer, I had got invited to camps, the Mullins camps.
The JUCO Advocate
so
one.
That is really what set the table for me, just for my recruiting. So when
that's where Akeem got a lot of his exposure after his freshman.
I'm happy you said that, because that's who my roommate was in that summer. So I was seeing how his work was paying off for him. So once I went to the Mullins camp in St. Louis, it's how ironic that my son is from St. Louis. So I went to the Mullins camp in St. Louis, and I got invited to the one in Vegas. And the camp in Vegas, the first game in Vegas, I had 8-8-8. And I remember after that game, that was the first time I had met Mark Shue. That was the guy that recruited me to go to Cal State Bakersfield. I remember after that game, he offered me a scholarship right on the spot. That was my first scholarship I had got, through them camps. I had racked in 15 offers for them camps. So that's
because those are good because it's guys that are invited from all over the country, not just your region or whatever, but like those are nationally ranked junior college kids that all come to play. So when you ball out against those guys,
and through my basketball journey, I always remember times of reassurance that is like that I'm telling myself, like, damn PJ, like you good, like you good enough to do this. Like I got moments like that dating back from when I played Thomas Hamilton. He bust my ass, but I got my shit off too. Like that's, what I'm saying. I remember from 8th grade to high school to when I played against Luke Fisher. He was the big for Marquette a couple years back. I played against him in high school and bust his ass. So it's like I remember these points where it's like, even when I got to Sheridan, when I used to bust Caleb ass, shouts out to Caleb, wherever you at. Even when I got to Sheridan, because in my mind, I'm like, damn, he just came from Cal. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, and that's high major D1. So in my mind, I'm like, yo, if I'm doing this to dude, I can only imagine what I could do when I get my body fine-tuned and I'm really like a well-running machine.
I want to ask you something, because you talk about what you were going to do once you got on that floor. You remember, because this is a huge moment for me in my basketball career and just my basketball journey, was you remember that we had just lost to Little Bighorn. We had just lost to Central Wyoming, and we were about to lose to Western Wyoming for the 3 straight games. You remember when Smiley threw all 5 of us?
I'm happy you said that, bro. Because I'm happy you said that, H. Because at that moment, and this might sound crazy, at that moment, I don't want to say me and you were the closest, but that game, after that game, I had no doubt in my mind, like, yo, that's my guy.
Yes,
Like,
sir, bro. Bro, I told my parents this. I want to stop you real quick. I told my parents this. I remember when we all went out there. I looked at you and it was like, here we go.
for
Like, let's
real,
do
it was
this.
like, it was really like you
Be-
couldn't script that. You couldn't script that because, like he just said,
no,
we were on
man.
the losing. Like we was just losing.
And we were sitting the bench.
Yeah,
Neither of us were playing. You know what I mean? Like neither of us
and
were
we
getting
was just
time.
losing, and it was like we were a talented team from top to bottom. We just kept
Mm-hmm.
losing, and Smiles just got pissed, and he just benched. He just benched the starters and was like, "Y'all go ahead."
He just Bush, he just went like he started the same way out of halftime. And, the first 3 or 4 minutes of the half, we're just digging ourselves a deeper hole, turning that thing over. Finally, Smiley walks down to the bench. He goes, you, go in. And we're all just
Yeah,
like, all right. We just take off our warm-ups.
Let's get it.
He said, go.
yo,
See, I know you're going through
And then,
the ringer if you're taking an L, like because I'm familiar with Region 9 being from Gillette.
okay,
If you're losing the little
mm-hmm.
Bighorn, man, that's
that's
not
not good.
bad
That's not
loss.
you.
nah.
Just not
That's not a
good
good.
right now.
That's not good because that's normally a team you beat by like
I'm not
40.
gonna lie to you.
That's a team you run out of the
I'm
gym.
not gonna lie to you, Bush. That game turned our season around. If you was to ask Coach Smiles right
It
now,
did
that
100%.
game was the game that was like that game really helped our that just saved our season. It really did.
It did
It really did. And
100%.
that's back to when I just say, like, I get these times of reassurance in my basketball journey where it's like, yo, you could do this. You know what I'm saying? You could do this.
Well, I remember that game. What got us rolling is I remember I gave you 3 or 4 straight post feeds, and you just went to town on those dudes. Boom, boom, bucket. And I was like, and I remember when you kicked one
You
out one
bang
time, and I
that.
shot faked it. I was wide open, and no, not on that one. I gave it back to you, and you got fouled or something. I remember you looked at me. You were like, "Shoot the ball!"
Oh, bro, because you could really shoot, bro. Like, you really got a shot on you, bro. So it's like, and I'm a guy, man.
Yes,
Like,
sir.
if I pass it to you, I'm passing to you for a reason. Shoot the ball. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I never forget that moment, bro. I think I still got that picture of you, bro, when you hit the shot and you was geeked, like you was screaming.
Mm-hmm.
I
I was
still remember
flexing.
That's
Yeah,
that's that's
yeah. I
Tate's.
was
that's one of
flexing.
my
He
favorite
got that
pictures,
on
dog. That's one of
IG.
my favorite. And that picture
Oh
that picture
man.
got so much meaning behind it because I know it's like that. Because I remember when I first got my first and one, I started screaming loud as hell, bro. Yeah, I remember
Mm-hmm.
that day, bro.
Yeah,
It's just
there
you
it
got to
is.
get that out of you. You got to
Yeah,
get that out of you.
I know. Well, bro, like you said, like a lot of people that just look at that picture, they just see someone getting
Man,
hyped
you
up
don't
after
even.
hitting a shot. But what you're understanding and what you like, the fact that I wanted to ask you about that was what went into that, like why
Yeah.
that emotion was coming out like that. You know what I mean? So like that's why I wanted to just ask
No,
you if
I
you
definitely remember that, bro.
because
Because
that's
it
something
wasn't
I go
like
back
it
to
was.
all the time.
You were ready, and you always put in the work. So I already knew
Mm-hmm.
what that emotion was. It was like God. It's like about time.
Yeah.
Shit. That's how I felt when we was in the
Yeah,
game. I'm like, man,
absolutely.
about time, dog. Because they was
Yeah.
bullshitting. Our starters was bullshitting, man. I'm like, man, y'all
Oh
got to go with
man,
this.
they
Yeah,
were.
man. I had.
You you made a tweet which I can't help but agree with, that Akeem was the most talented
Yeah.
player you played with. Was it in JUCO or was it in or just any level?
Hmm.
Because I can't remember what
No,
the tweet said, but
it may
whichever
be
one it
it
was.
is any level. I like when we talking about like straight
Yeah.
talent, like just like get up, put your shoes on, get on the court. I ain't never seen nobody like King ever, ever.
It was
With
stupid,
and
bro.
Bush,
It was
he couldn't
stupid.
shoot a rock in the pond. That's my guy. I love him to death, but he couldn't shoot.
Oh,
At the
that's not
time, he couldn't
good.
shoot a rock in the pond, but you couldn't. If he made his mind up, you couldn't stop him.
Mm-mm.
You couldn't stop him, and he affect the
No.
whole game. Like he could.
And I remember his arms were like, he would pick my pocket sometimes, and I would just be like, how did you get that? Like, how did you even reach
Hey
that far
man,
over there? Oh my God, he would make me
that
so
was
mad picking
crazy.
my
He was,
pocket.
and not Fred. Fred is another dude. Fred is another dude.
Fred.
Yo, I'm looking at one of these comments right here. Did you guys play with a dude named Tredarius McCallum?
Yeah, that's baby
Yeah.
T, man. Yeah, he
Trey.
was
Trey.
young. He was young.
Because
T. He was a young fella.
he playing overseas, right?
Yeah, I knew he
Mm-hmm.
was gonna be a pro when I first
He
seen him
was in the
hoop,
G
though.
League for a little while. Yeah, he was on Chicago's G League team for like a year and a half or 2 years.
That's
or
what
something
I'm
like
saying.
that.
Said the Windy City Bulls.
Yeah, man. I knew he
Yeah.
was gonna be good as soon as I seen him play. Like, I'm like, yeah.
He was just a baby though when he came to
Literally.
Sheridan at first. He was just I don't know if he was 17 or 18 yet, but he was
Literally,
young.
man.
I don't think a lot of
But he
people
had it.
realize the talent that Region
Oh
9
my
had, like
God.
Gillette, Sheridan. I don't think even still, like with Gillette coming back, I know Neary's gonna bring in some dudes again to Gillette, but it's like I don't think kids understand like JUCO is a level of different talent.
Especially Region
Like
9.
those you guys could hoop. Yes, Region 9 is tough.
Region 9 is a man, Jesus Christ. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh,
I'm
who
not
was I
gonna
just
lie.
looking up?
I didn't expect I did not because I'm from Milwaukee. So when I heard basketball in Wyoming, I didn't think it was ass, but I'm like, I didn't think it was gonna be what it was. I'm like, yo, like
But you saw college
true.
basketball in Wyoming.
True,
You
that's
didn't
true.
see
That's
high
true.
school basketball in Wyoming.
Different.
That's true.
Yeah. Ain't no way high
It's
I
school.
wonder
not
Yeah.
what
it's
Mr.
not
Basketball of Wyoming looked
Milwaukee.
like
Like,
then.
I mean, so this is the best way I would describe Wyoming. You have those one, like, it's not like Milwaukee or Wisconsin where there's 25, 30, maybe more Division I kids or like
Yeah.
kids sniffing Division I every year. It's like
Oh,
one or two,
okay.
maybe at best.
I mean, the best dude,
And so,
James Johnson came from. You know James Johnson, right?
Okay.
yeah, James
He
Johnson.
he came
He's from
from
Wyoming.
Bush, guess what?
Cheyenne East High School. Like
So when
what's
my
up?
second year at Sheridan, Coach Miles left, and the assistant
Uh-huh.
coach for Sheridan, that was James Johnson's best friend. He's a sneakerhead. James Johnson got a pair of my shoes just because of
That's
that ass. Just because Coach Parks,
yeah,
Tom Parks,
That's dope.
yeah, he's at a JUCO now in
yeah.
Florida. I
Yeah,
was just messaging
he's
him
at
like a
Northwest
couple
Yep,
weeks
Florida.
ago.
yep, that's my guy, man. Tom Parks, that's one of my guys, man. Good dude.
Mm-hmm.
No. Oh, I was just gonna say something too. Oh, did y'all know Darvin Ham played at Otero?
No, I did not know.
Really?
Swear, for a year. I was because I went yet last night. I was like, I was looking up his thing. I think it was 93 and 94.
What?
Darvin Ham played at Otero. Yes, the Lakers head
Oh,
coach. That's wild to me. Because Otero is like one of them schools in Region 9 that's like prominently known for always
we
being good,
beat
right?
we
But
beat
that's
Otero to go to play. Yeah,
We beat them the first
you
round.
lost to NJC.
We beat them the first round. We beat Otero, then we beat Northwest, and then we lost.
That was to go to
NJC in
Hutch.
the semifinals.
Damn.
I know, man. Oh, bro, do you think if we had Josh Adeyeye, if he didn't break his leg, we
Easy.
would have won the conference?
Easy. We were really
Oh,
well.
God,
I've
bro.
never seen nothing like that. You know, Josh, he a model now.
I know, bro. This dude, Bush, this dude is like, he's one of those guys that's like, how do you get that many muscles on your body?
And Bush, you know what's
what in
crazy?
the
When
world
you
is
hear
going on?
like a guy that's real muscled up, you would think that he's stiff. Josh was stiff, but oh my God, man, he could shoot the piss off.
Oh, yeah.
Like
he
he was
man.
just a good hooper.
Going back to what, really, damn. Going back to what you said, Hills, to best explain, like, why the best player we had was, he was a couple of years before you got, or P came to Sheridan, but it was Taryn Brown. After James Johnson, I would say that was the best. But, like, honestly, when you think of Wyoming basketball now, like, it's not good anymore. Like, it's really not good. Like, our highest class is 4A, and I'd say the best players normally come from, like, 3A schools and stuff, you know? Like the
You think
talent
so?
right now, yes. I don't think like the talent level isn't as much there. I guess I haven't seen as much. Like I know Laramie got that kid. Laramie's
Neil
got
Summers,
Neil
yeah, he's a
Summers.
big
He's
fella.
good, but like just the talent level has really fallen off as a whole. You know what I mean? But it's just hard for people to like kids in Wyoming don't
Man, I gotta
understand how
be
to.
honest. I don't know if the talent level was there to begin with.
You're right,
You
but
know,
I don't think the
like
kid like I think it was better back when we were playing. Like maybe that's biased, but like I just don't know if the kid if like really as a whole we knew how to get ourselves out there.
Oh, that
Not
makes
that
sense,
like it
though.
is
we
That makes sense.
nowadays.
well, there wasn't the ability to get it out
No.
like there is now. You know what I mean? Like you got Twitter, you got all these different things that you know gives you the ability
And you
to
hear Wyoming,
get your
like
name out
kids
there.
playing in Wyoming, you better be averaging 20 some points for you to get a like a look because they're thinking,
Oh, at
oh, you're
least.
playing against
At
like
least.
we went to my high school team went to Reno, Nevada, and we played this tournament. And it was this tournament our coach took us every summer, and only one of his teams prior to us going my senior year had won. And when we went, we had won it, but we played this team from Northern California, the Northern California
I
All
think
Stars, and we beat them twice. We beat them twice, once in the first game, like pool play, and then once in the championship. And afterwards, their coach came up to us and he was like, "Man, I'll be honest with you. When we saw Gillette, Wyoming, like we were thinking cowboy boots and
Thought it
like
was gonna be
farmer
sweet.
pants. Like we were expecting some farmer boys to show up and play, and it like really hit me. I was like, damn, that's what people really think about,
hey, when
Wyoming
people hear
basketball.
Wisconsin, they think about farms and cheese. I'm like, man, we hours away from that in Milwaukee.
You said it earlier though. Milwaukee, like Clem and Chris, like those are two of my best friends from Milwaukee. Clem is probably one of the like he could hoop and he can still hoop to
Yeah,
this
he could
day,
play.
even if he like he doesn't pick up a ball that often. But those are like Milwaukee is a different breed of Miles Henry.
Oh,
Miles
you
could
know,
hoop,
Miles?
like
Oh yeah,
He was a Gillette.
yeah,
Yeah,
Miles is like,
he played
Gillette.
at
You're
Black
right.
Hills.
and he went to
Hmm.
BH. Miles is living out here
Yeah.
out in Rapids, so I see him quite a bit now. We're pretty close too, but like because I was asking Clem
Miles
if he
Henry's
knew
the
you, but
silent
Clem didn't
assassin.
remember. Did you ever play in Gus Mack? Sorry, that's a random ass comment. The Gus Mack tournament. Did you ever play in that? The three
Gus,
on
no, I
three?
never played Gus Map tournament. No, I never heard of
No,
that.
that's in Sheboygan.
It's
It
just a
said it was
Oh
three.
no,
always in
yeah, I ain't do
Sheboygan.
too
Yeah.
much. Well, I ain't gonna lie, I don't want to sound too uppity, bro. But like, when we played on the
No,
when
you're
we
good.
played on the circuit, it was more. We was most likely out of town, or if we was in town, I
Yeah.
don't know if y'all heard of NY
Yeah.
to LA, but we played a lot of NY to LA tournaments.
hmm
But if we wasn't here, like playing NY to
Hmm.
LA, we were out of town, man.
So you know
Yeah, me and
Miles then?
Miles, we played. Me and Miles play. I play up. I
Oh,
play up with Miles AAU team. He's older than me. I play up with him.
that's right. I knew that. I
Yeah.
remember because when you said Mac Irvin Fire, that rung a bell in my head, and I couldn't remember like because they know that team very
Yeah.
well. Jarrell James. There's a dude named Jarrell James that I know from Milwaukee that played. I think he played on a pretty solid. He's older than you. He's like Miles's
Oh,
age and
okay.
stuff. But Clem and Miles say that dude was one of the best hoopers that they've ever been
Yeah.
around too, because he was pretty
Yeah, I
cold as
remember
well.
Miles, man. I played up with a lot of older cats in Milwaukee. I hated playing up, man, because I didn't get that much burn at certain tournaments, man. I hated that shit. But my coach didn't let me play. My coach wouldn't let me play my age bracket. I hated
Too
Yeah.
good.
I hated playing up.
Playing up. It helps you, man. It helps you
Definitely.
playing up a
I
little
got me
bit.
my son. My son is in football right now, man. I'm not gonna push him into basketball until a little bit, and then I'm gonna give him a couple more years, and I'm gonna roll the ball out to him. He's
how
6.
how
He's
old is he
6.
now?
He gonna be huge, man. He gonna be
6?
huge. His
Oh, they're
mom's his
growing
mom's
up,
six
man.
four, so be huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
We both
already in his
hoopers,
bloodline. So
You gotta teach him
hey,
to
he
touch
already
like
got
you
a
got,
soft little
man.
touch, man. I think that's just running the family.
Yeah.
I think that's just running the
It's
family,
genetic.
man. I love doing this, man. I can talk about ball all
All
day,
right,
man,
man.
especially with y'all.
We need to have you on
Hey,
again,
I'm gonna
honestly.
come out
Yeah,
there.
Straight
bro,
up.
for real, we
Are
could
y'all in
get you
Wyoming?
on again.
See,
No,
I
he's in
am,
Okay, you
Wyoming.
in
I'm in
Colorado, you in
Colorado.
Wyoming.
but we,
Okay, I'm gonna get
yeah,
up with y'all,
we do
man.
need Hills. I was thinking about that. I need to come down to Colorado. And we need to do a in person
Yeah, I wouldn't
episode.
mind.
Yeah,
I
that'd be
definitely
tough.
wouldn't mind, especially how
That'd
much
be
I be
super
moving
tough.
around, man. I wouldn't mind coming to kick it with H again, man. I wouldn't mind that, man.
If for real, if you're in Colorado, you need to let me know if you're anywhere close
I
to
got you.
Pueblo,
I got you for
Colorado.
sure.
We gotta
And Bush, same with you, man. You
figure
one of my
something out.
guys too now, man.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
Yeah.
it. No, we definitely need that. If you're like in a couple weeks or so want to do this again, like I'm serious. This is
Bro,
a
I would
solid
love
episode.
to,
We could
bro.
talk for
This is
forever.
I would
hour
love to,
35.
bro. I would love to. You ain't gotta ask. Just let me know when you're ready.
We'll be hitting you up very soon, but we appreciate it, bro. I know you got things to do, and it's an hour later there. You're getting late, but we appreciate your time, bro.
Yeah, this
That was
a
some
good
great
one.
conversation. Obviously,
This is a
we got
good
off
one.
track.
Real quick, because I know I always do the shout out at the end. Let the people know where they can find your music, man. Because I know you're
Oh
doing
yeah,
that
so you
thing.
can find my music on basically all platforms. You just put in Big P or put in Driveway Dreamers. It's on everything. I'm actually working on a new project titled Weed and Wine. It's gonna be my first solo joint, so just stay on the lookout for that. I'll keep y'all
Okay.
tapped in with it too.
Yes, sir.
He's got an EP
2520.
out already. You dropped that a few years ago,
2520, I
didn't
dropped
you?
in
Yeah.
2019, and I got Drawaway Dreamers out from a collective I'm a part of called TRP, The Roses Prevail. So y'all can go stream all that, man.
Yes, sir.
You heard it,
Hey,
folks.
before you go, let me ask you, you as far as the your songs you've made already, what's your favorite one you've made? Because I got my favorite of yours. I got one or two
My
of my
favorite
favorites.
song I
I wanna
made
hear
thus
what your
far
favorite
probably
is
be
of yours.
94 Chevy, and July 4th, hands down. July 4th. Yeah, and
94
94
Chevy
Chevy
was
because
mine.
that's
That was
about my
mine right there.
granddad.
So
That's basically like my pops. We share the same birthday, so that
I just listened to that
yeah.
before we hopped
And
on this
I
too.
don't want to make it sound like, but that's old, man. Like I had just started rapping when I made that. Like, I'm like so much better artist now, bro. So I can't wait till y'all hear this new stuff that I've been working on, man.
That's how I
we'll be
feel
keeping
about
our eye
this.
out
Y'all
for
got
it.
That's how I
something
feel
with this,
about this.
man.
Hills going from episode 11 to episode 1. Like we've made the first episode was like, man, how do we
Yeah,
do
man.
this? And now it's just
We
flowing.
were like preaching to the
It's gonna be a
choir
good
right
thing.
there,
It's gonna be the good thing when I look up and y'all actually got like a set and y'all really got this thing rolling and popping, man. It's gonna be good.
doing something. Yeah.
I'm
That's
happy
the
to
goal.
start this
Straight
early,
up.
man. I really am, man. Anytime y'all want to do this again, y'all let me know, man.
But
Yes, sir.
so you heard
appreciate
it.
you.
Go ahead. You heard it, folks. What is it? Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio. Tune in, like, subscribe, comment. Let us know how you like this episode. If we need P back on, because that's if we want him back on.
Appreciate y'all one more time, man.
But I hope, yes, sir. I hope y'all are good because we're doing great.
We're doing great.
All right, y'all.
All right, guys.